Alright, this is a pair of Sennheiser HD650s, and I'm going to show you how to take them apart. First of all, the connectors on the earpieces just pull out. They're a little bit stiff a lot of times, and you notice when you put them back together again that you need to have the lettering. This one is red and has an R on it, and the lettering faces the outside when you put it in. One of the little tips is slightly larger than the other tip, and the holes in here are different sizes, so if you put it in the wrong way it doesn't really quite fit, and pushing it in will damage the plastic of the receiver of this connector. So the letter always goes to the outside. As you can see, this has a L on it, so that's your left. Alright, and now to take them apart, you simply push the ear cup so it's fully 90 degrees to the bail, and then pull out the bail like that, and then the earpiece comes off. Okay, now the grill has to come off, and you get your thumb under this ridge here, or fingernails, and then that pops off. You can take the little plastic decorative piece off as well, and then on the ear cushions you simply pull it and it comes out with this pad here. So now you're left with the here's the dome of the driver, and here this is the material that changes color a lot of times. And then on the back side, this round housing with this arm that sticks down here, kind of like looks like a lollipop. This is where the driver assembly is, and this is where it comes out. Now I'm actually going to use an older unit that I have, and this one you can see the pads, how it's depressed. This is how the pads look after they get used for a while, and as I said in the article, about after 5 years or so you have to replace these pads because the foam in them kind of breaks down. Anyway, so I'll take this one apart as well, and here you can see these are both HD 600s, and you can see that this material is different, and over the years it seems to sort of randomly change. At least in the past it has. I think it's been pretty stable with this new material for quite a while. Oh, that's that one. Okay, so now we're gonna pull this lollipop out of here. I saw somebody on the internet says you can just pry this part, the arm, up to release these 4 little tabs, but I've never found that to be the case. And what I always do is get a small screwdriver that you can fit behind this tab. I'm gonna have to get a smaller screwdriver. Sometimes even just a pointy tool works, but I know I've got a screwdriver that's just right. Here, this one's very small tip on this, and so you can get it behind this tab here, and this is where you have to be very careful because it's very easy to break this tab. So there we go, it released. And then I think once you get the back ones off, the front ones will come off pretty easily. There we go. And that's what the driver looks like. Now inside here, and I'm going to have to change the camera angle so we can look at these contact springs. Alright, so now we have our little lollipop out of the headphone. This is the driver assembly, and you can see that it's got these springs down here, and that's where the connector goes in. and the pins intercept those springs to make contact. Here's one of the connectors, and you can see when this connector goes in, you see the pins coming through and then contacting those springs. And the end of each spring, here there's a very, very fine wire here. That's the wire that's coming from the driver voice coil, and you need to be very careful not to jostle that wire because it's very easy to break. And at the end of that wire, it's in a little well with a little pin that's pushed into the well to make contact with that wire, and then the spring contacts that pin. So there's quite a few connections going on right there. At any rate, these are the springs in the old headphones that would deform. What would happen is the little gap between the springs, right where the connector from the headphone cable comes in, would spread out and would eventually spread out far enough where it would sometimes not make contact. And the fix is to replace the springs with the new one. Now this driver has the new ones in there already. I'll take a spring out. What you want to do, being very careful not to get the little driver wire, is to just get the spring by the little arm that sticks out from it, and you can remove it very easily. And then here is one of the older type springs. And you can see the newer springs are gold in color, and the older springs are silver in color. And you can see that this one is stretched out a little bit more than the new spring. And you can see that it's stretched out right where that pin goes through on the older pair of headphones that I had. To put the spring back in is a bit tricky. You have to be very careful not to let this little spring jump out of your hands and go someplace that you'll never find it again, which is what's already happened to me once today. So you grab it with a pair of needle nose like this, and then you compress the spring with the tweezers and stick it into the little well that goes. And I'm having to be very careful not to touch this wire. As you can see, it's not easy, and this is something that if you're not comfortable, you should just send your headphones. Woohoo! Oh, I've just destroyed that one. Well, here's how you fix that. Put it up to your mouth and suck the thing out. Alright, let's keep trying. There we go. You have to be very careful. Nope, I just dimpled this a little bit. You have to be very careful. As you can see, there's a magnet in here which draws the driver up to the tool, and I've managed to crinkle it a little bit. And there you go. So this is not something that you should attempt unless you're real careful. Okay, so here's 4 drivers all in a row. This is a very old 600. This is a newer 600, maybe 5 years old or so. This is a brand new 600, and this is the 650 driver. There are supposed to be some differences with the 650 driver in that it's supposed to have a multi-layer diaphragm and aluminum voice coil, which makes it different. The new 650 driver look very, very similar. I'm not sure exactly I'm sure you can't really see the differences, but the number markings are slightly different. And this one has a wire that's outside of where it should be. Well, really the only way I can tell the difference is the very old one, the diaphragm is slightly yellowed, and maybe it was yellower in color to start with, and also there's more dust on it, obviously. So not a lot of changes, at least externally, in the years. Okay, these are the baffle plate assemblies where the driver goes in right here, and this is the part facing the ear that you can sort of see if you lift the foam pad off. What I'm showing you here is the number of different materials that got used in this venting material, in this damping material here. It covers up a bunch of holes and changes the acoustic impedance between the area in your ear and the area behind the driver. So it has some acoustic properties. This is the very early 600, and it has a paper-like substance by the looks of it. It maybe Kevlar type synthetic material, but it's not woven. It is a bunch of fibers that are mashed together into a piece of fabric. And then this is a little bit later version. This is a fabric of some type, and it's dark in color, very dark gray but not really black, so it's a little bit lighter than the oldest version. And then the newest versions have this material on it, which looks like some sort of a metallic fabric, and this is a 600, the latest 600, and then this is the latest 650. The materials look very similar. Trying to get it so the light isn't shining off of it too much. The materials look fairly similar, although the 650 material is slightly finer mesh. So quite a few different types of fabric have been used over the years. There may be others, I don't know. These are just the 4 that I happen to have. Okay, so reassembling the headphones is just the reverse of the process. I take the driver plate and you put the driver assembly, baffle plate, and this is the baffle, by the way, these baffles right here. So this is the baffle plate, and we're gonna just push the driver back in, and it snaps with those 4 tabs like that. And then we take this the decorative piece here and put it on, and then you can see these little cutouts here. That's the bottom part where the tabs go through. You just snap that back on, and then the little foam baffle plate cover here. I think it goes in this way, I'm sorry, with the ridge facing down there, and then the ear pad assembly. We put it on there, and then just simply squeeze, and you can hear it click into place. Then to put it back in the headphone, it's a reverse of the process, with the decorative side out. And put in one leg, put in the other leg into the hole, and then you press in while pushing the arm down, and then it should come out flush on the sides right here. And the headphones are back together, except for the cable, of course. So this is the left headphone. You can tell it goes on an angle. Oh, I can't really quite tell. Let's raise the camera up so you can get a better view. Okay, so this headphone angles down this direction, of course, and that makes it the left side. So you take your cable and you put the letter to the outside of the headphone, stick it in, and then the same with the right, with the letter out, And that goes in there. And you're done.